Hello and welcome to Ham and Nation, episode 618 for February 25th, 2026. And hello, everybody. I am Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks for coming on out to Ham and Nation. I now have the episode numbers in the title of the video. Hooray for me. Somebody mentioned that, and I was like, oh, yeah, why am I not doing that? I'm sure there was a reason for that I totally forgot. So, hey, there they are now.
In my brain.
I apologize. I don't know why. I have no idea, but there they are now. So,
well, thank you very much for updating.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, how is everybody? Let's start at the top. Gordon West, how you doing today?
We're doing well, and we can't wait to hear your report on Orlando. And this weekend is Yuma Hamfest.
Woo-hoo! Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
Ah, very good. I realize that your audio might be a little wacky. We got you, Gordo. No, I think you're good.
You got it. Okay, we're set.
Can everybody hear Gordo on the show?
Yeah, he sounds fine.
Yeah.
Well, you see him in the talk, but he changed his link, so now I'm unsure if I've got him. Everybody in the chat, can you give me a thumbs up on that? If you're hearing Gordo.
Hello,
Gordo, give a...
Gordo testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, everybody hears you. Okay, my bad. Sorry, we'll keep going.
There you go.
Don, how you doing?
I'm good. Last weekend, I was sitting in a casino bar, and I was watching curling. I was watching the ladies' USA versus Canada bronze medal round, and I watched 3 hours of that stuff, and I am sucked in. I learned more about curling than I didn't even know how to spell curling before, and now I've figured it out. I'm completely sucked in, and anyway, so my Team USA hat from many, many years ago I'm wearing my Captain America because I'm all excited about USA and the Olympics, and now that it's all over with, I'm probably a little bit late wearing all this stuff, but nonetheless, that's what I do.
I like the Captain America. Good look there. So nicely.
Thank you very much. We've got a great update from Dr. Scove tonight, along with the Amateur Radio Newsline thing. And also, don't forget, Sunday, March 1st, is the beginning of the nominating period for the Young Ham of the Year award this year.
Yes.
It's time.
Yes, very good. All right.
There you
stay
go.
tuned for that. We'll be talking about that in the future. And Amanda, how are you doing this week? Good to see you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm doing fantastic. And I also enjoyed watching the Olympics, and Team USA was amazing and some really crazy upsets at the same time. But you take the
hockey,
good with the bad, and
hockey,
golds all the way around. Go
absolutely,
go ladies, go men, and some crazy figure skating upsets, which floored me. So taking gold in women's and first time in 20 years. Anyhow, I love the Olympics. Our founder Bob loved the Olympics, and I love tweeting with him texting with him and Sarah all the time about hearing it live. It was so much fun. So anyhow, not why y'all came here today. You can catch up on the Olympics anytime you want. We're here about amateur radio, and tonight Shannon and I, KC1OHT, are going to be discussing the International Women's Wild POTA Party Day, and actually it's a week. I believe. Anyhow, I'll catch up with Shannon on that. And then we're also going to be discussing the worldwide awards for the YL. It's a DX competition that goes about 2 weeks, 1 week. Again, we'll be discussing that, and we'll be showing all of you YLs how you can get involved and what you should be doing for these wonderful celebrations. So with that, I'm also going to be watching the chat room, and stay tuned. We got a great show. Oh, and I have Ham It or Can It, so don't want to miss out. Yeah. So Gordo, you take it away.
All right. Well, thanks so much. And Don, we have your beads, and we understand these are original. Okay.
Original to what? Oh, we're in Lent now, though. Gordon, Mardi Gras is done.
Well,
bring those with you. Bring those with you when you come back down. We'll go on another swamp tour. We'll feed the alligators some more marshmallows, and then maybe I'll make you a deal privately on the beads.
Roger that. Okay, they're going in the bag. No
Not
problem.
In front of the girls. Not in front of the girls.
All right. Testing your knowledge of coaxial cable. And it won't be details the intricacies of coax, but rather things that we just sort of take for granted until they go wrong. And that's happened a lot right here. So let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of coax cable. And you know, the best coax is always the coax that someone gives you, especially if it's got a name brand on it and if it's brand new in the box or in the container. But you know, just looking at a piece of coax cable, you really don't know other than, well, it's not the little stuff, it's the big stuff. And that's going to handle VHF and UHF. But you ever wonder what's going on the inside? Well, on the top picture, you see coax with a silver tinned copper braid that has foil that is encapsulating just below the braid, and that makes it generally 100% shielding. And then below that is the dielectric, that's the insulation material between the center conductor. Well, the second one down is a little flaky because you begin to see some of the dielectric, and that means some of the signal is going to leak out. And while there is on purpose leaking out coax, that bottom one is a great candidate. That came out of Don's box when he and I back in the 70s were working on CB channel 8 or 12, or I forget what channel. But that's all we had back in the CB days, right? Don? Yeah, he's looking at that.
Yeah,
going,
absolutely.
Oh, that's not my cable.
No,
so you can't
got that
really
from Gordon.
you can't really judge what's going on with coax cable unless you're able to dig under the jacket. And that outside jacket is very important because some jackets are guarding against UV cracking, where other jackets in about a year in the sun, they go bad and begin to leak. Well, we all know this, the PL259. And look at this, gold plated. Wow. That probably came from Amanda's shack because she always goes for the good stuff. However,
I'm high maintenance that way.
Bling.
What we don't know is that white stuff, that's the insulation, is that plastic or Teflon? Teflon would be preferred, plastic not preferred, because if it's plastic and you heat up that center to get the center conductor to stick and to get soldered, the plastic melts and then your whole cable is not going to get much signal because the whole PL259. So be very careful. And anytime you see a nice white insulation between the center conductor pin and the outside, take a look and make sure it's Teflon, not plastic, even though the connector may be gold. Now, there's a good solder job there. That's an amphenol connector and a nice solder job on the tip. But the tip is the easy part. The solder job that sometimes goes bad is the braid. Now, here's a close look at the braid, and the braid is in very good shape because it's soldered through the 3 or 4 holes in the connector. So if ever you want to check out a piece of coax that somebody says, hey, have this 100-foot piece of coax, I made it myself, double check and see how that braid is looking by backing off that outside connector. So there's a good, it passes a coax cable connector. And again, just looking at the center conductor, you've got to look at the braid because so many times the coax braid is not soldered properly. Oh boy, down at the seashore, we see a lot of this. This is where the outside jacket has corroded to the point that it's allowed seawater to get in. And then, of course, the copper is first to soak up the seawater. And mariners that say, this is weird, I got a masthead antenna, but I see water dripping out of the back of my radio. What's going on? Well, I can tell you, up at the antenna, 35 feet up on a sailboat or on a tower, is getting water inside the coax, and thanks to the braid, capillary effect kills that connection. Well, the end connector. On the new technician class test, they categorize the connectors as being waterproof or not. And the test question says, are the following connectors waterproof or not? The end connector's in there, and no, it is not submersible. It can have a little bit of water that gets into it. So there you go on coax connectors for now. Now, of course, handhelds, they have their own type of, we'll call it coax connectors called the SMA. And the SMA is different on land mobile handhelds converted over to ham sets versus Kenwood, Yaesu, Icom, Alinco, and the others. So make sure that if you're going to be getting a larger antenna, you've got the right gender of the handheld antenna that's going to screw into the receiver on the radio. See, that one's got a receiver, but the one just shown you had the other part, the gender part that has the pin in it. So be careful that if you have a handheld and you're going for a new, longer antenna, you tell the gang what type of handheld you have, and they'll look it up and give you either the male style or the female style of the connector. Well, you're going to go for a trunk lip mount. That's a great way to go. Go for either Comet or Diamond or any other good quality trunk lip mount. And you see a bit of yellow tape there. That's just to take the strain off of what's going to be happening next. Now, be very careful that if you have a trunk lid, that that little sticking out piece on the left bottom side of the coax connector, make sure that's not going to dig into the trunk as mine did on Susie's car. And of course going, oh no, that scratch has been there for years. And she knows, no, it's that new mount that got us scratching the portion of the deluxe mount that we see there. So trunk lip mounts are good. And many times they terminate first with a little tiny coax, the 174, and then they'll go to bigger coax. And the best part there is you can unscrew this connection on most of them and be able to thread it through the trunk and into the rear seat and ultimately to where the radio body is mounted. Yeah, you could do it through the window, but look at this. Anytime you roll up your window, you're going to squash the coax. Well, it's strong. No, what's going to change is it may not break the coax, but it's going to change the impedance where you've squashed it into the window. So be very careful. I know, chat room, you're probably looking at saying, well, there's a lot of rubber in the window. It's going to take it up. And usually you can get away with it. But if you continuously roll the window up and down electronically, you're going to slowly change the impedance of the coax connector. You never want to mess with coax on an operating repeater. And Don does a lot of repeater work. And Don, we know that whoever did the repeater work balanced out the transmit, the receive, and the band pass. And all of those depends on the coax cable staying exactly the way it is. So don't, at a repeater site, go up there going, well, let me help dress up this coax cable, because you may influence its pass band or its stop band. And these duplexers and triplexers really need to have professional coax cable. And on UHF, we always use the larger RG8 style, LMR 400 and so on, just to make sure that there's no change in impedance. Now, here was a strange one. This was a wonderful antenna, a directional HF antenna. And as soon as we did the coax and we found that the boom, which is grounded, upset the match to the hot part of the antenna, it'd be a folded dipole on this one. So you want to make sure that if the elements are above the boom and not connected to the boom, that you maybe do not run the coax or the nice little choke that you've come up with. Don't put them right on the grounded boom, because again, that's going to change the impedance of the coax connector. And yeah, it's a good idea on any VHF, UHF, or HF antenna to take several wraps of coax and real neatly have them held together with a plastic tie. But you know, there's a ton of ties out there, plastic ties, that are plastic that will break after about 8 months in the bright sunlight. So yeah, Amanda's going, yeah, you know you're in trouble when at the base of the tower you see a whole bunch of black ties. So only use professional ties. Now, if your antenna is going to take a hot and a cold or a center conductor and an outside braid, you want to be sure and solder not only the connectors, but also solder the braid, and then take copious amounts of what I recommend is Coaxial. And you can still get it at the ham stores. The company may have changed names, but there you see us making sure that there's going to be no moisture that's going to get into the braid. Because remember, the braid is half of your antenna circuit. So here we've got it well sealed, well soldered, and we're ready to hook it up to the antenna. And we go ahead and we put it over the 2 screws sticking out there and dog them down. Double check that we've got stainless steel hardware, because there's nothing worse than when Don goes up a tower and Tyler's helping him.
Yeah, Don don't go up a tower. No, Don don't go up a tower. No.
Jeff has war stories about aluminum nuts instead of stainless steel.
You got to double check that you're not going to have.
There's been numerous cuss words and wrenches flying up the tower.
Jeff goes up the tower. Don don't go up
there
the
you
tower.
go.
There you go.
Make sure that those elements have all stainless steel screws and nuts and so on, and washers, that you don't have bad connections after a year. Now we see a lot of this, and this is the barrel connection. And if you have to do it, it's okay on HF, probably about a 1/4 dB loss maybe. And the barrel is not necessarily a 50 ohm connection. There's always a little bump there. But if you got to do the barrel, there you go. Nice to look at that. But it's not nice to look at once rainwater gets in there and corrodes it. So use tons of black tape as well as coaxial. But don't break the tape by yanking it till it, let me pull it, boom. Yeah, and then you squish it down. And once you get the antenna up there 60 feet in the air, you go, what's that thing flapping in the breeze? That's because you pulled coax trying to break it, and that stretches it to the point where it's going to undo itself and flap in the breeze. And the first thing we want to look at when we drive up to your antenna tower is making sure you have no flapping black tape in the breeze, and use good quality black tape as well. Well, here's another shot of, let's see. No, that's not Josh's connector. It's not in. Oh, my gosh. That must be my connector, where I did a nice job of sealing up the connection point on the driven element of this UHF Yagi. And I said, I got to remember to be sure and cover that coax connector with tape and goo afterwards. And I didn't. And just 8 months later, here's what it looks like. And it's literally welded. I had to break the whole thing apart. I could not unscrew it, even with a pair of pliers, because the aluminum migrated to a weld connection on the barrel SO239 sticking out of the antenna. And it's always good to check your work with an SWR analyzer before you add it to your radio. And what you always want to be careful of, not with this particular product, but let's say an ohm meter to check your coax connector. Anytime you have the other end hooked into your radio and you take out your handy dandy ohm meter and you put it to center pin to the outside, and you begin to see a voltage, or you begin to see the voltage that's developed by the ohm meter reading a somewhat connection, that's not a good test, because what's occurring is you're putting a micro amount of voltage on the field effect transistor in your radio, and it does not like to have any DC flowing on that part of the component. So be very careful that you use a professional SWR analyzer that we see here, and make sure that the other end goes to your antenna, but don't be checking at the antenna down the other way, because now you're going to be putting a small amount of voltage on the transceiver that is hooked into the coax. Now you want to see coax. All right, well, here is coax that has gone bad. WM6T Tracy came over and he says, this is really weird. I have a short somewhere in my coax. And on his motorhome, we both got down there and we held the coax in our hand and ran it down there. There was no nail in it like we used to do in the old days, no pin in it, no scrunch mark in it. We go, what the heck? You can't buy a new piece of coax and have it, somehow shorted out in the inside. Guess again. Take a look down there in the bottom, and let me look carefully. Yep, the bottom started out fine, but 2 feet away, Then the wires begin to migrate over, and that is a shorted piece of coax on the inside that we could not feel on the side, but we could actually see it on an ohm meter at both ends wide open. So anytime you're going to be doing a lot of coax work, you want to double check and make sure that you don't have a bad piece of coax. And as you saw right there, that was not 2 kilowatts that caused it to heat up. And it wasn't scrunched. It was just a bad piece of coax. So, and that was from a leading manufacturer that said, yeah, every so often that happens. Yeah, no fun when you got to pull it all out of where you've been doing it. So coax cable, don't take it for granted. Treat it carefully. Make sure it's well sealed. And buy good quality coax from leading manufacturers, because the outside black, sometimes white jacket is PVC that has been treated to not break apart in the sunlight. So remember, coax likes to be treated gently, and that way that 50 ohm coax will continue to stay 50 ohms no matter how it goes around between your antenna and your transceiver. So that's my story on coax. And let's now go back to Amanda with any questions in chat room. Thanks for your input.
I just have a comment. Just as important as your coax is your connector. Have a good connector, clean connector. Make sure it's pristine, and even a little bit of tarnish can cause you SWR like you've never seen in your life. So
I got one.
Any questions? Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Josh.
So Gordo, going back to your story there, somebody hands you a roll of coax and they're like, here you go, Josh, this is some coax I'm giving you. And you suspect it might have some water in it. What do you do, Gordo, if it's a 50 feet, 100 feet of coax?
I would use my Simpson. Let me look at it. 260. Yeah. The big Simpson. Put it on its highest scale. R times, let's see, this one is R times 10,000. And at 10,000, you're going to be able to see even someone putting their thumb, a dry thumb over it at the opposite end. If you see any indication that that has moisture, and moisture comes into foam coax quite easily. Air coax, it just pours in. But a PVC type, more rigid coax usually rejects any water that's going to be absorbed by the coax dielectric. So I tested at R times 10,000, the highest scale that my volt ohm meter will read. And then to make sure I've got a good connection at the other end, I lick my thumb, put it over the end of the coax connector, and I should see a change in that meter from going to infinity to a slight amount of conduction.
What do you do, though, if you got a piece of wet coax, Gordo? What do you do with it?
I give it to the guy down the street that's continuously interrupting my... No, there's no squeezing out water of coax that I've determined yet, even with an angled iron.
So, put it on a random table at a ham fest that says free to a good home.
Yeah, I convinced my my wife to just let me put it in the clothes dryer. She was not happy about that arrangement. And I don't think it worked, but yeah, anyway.
Kids don't do that at home.
I got a question for you, Gordo. The coaxial that you use is great stuff, but it's messy if you ever have to take it off. So what do you think about putting a layer of the good electrical tape on first, and then wrapping the self-amalgamated coax seal around it, and then going with another layer of electrical tape on the outside? That way, if you ever have to take that apart, you've got electrical tape on the inside right against the metal, and it's a lot cleaner. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it might be a lot cleaner. I just don't know if that would seal quite as well as coaxial. Okay. But the deal with coaxial is if it's hot outside, pick another day to be putting it on.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Do it when it's nice and cool, below 70 degrees, and take it off below 70 degrees, and it should not stick to everything.
I know we had a repeater owner here in New Orleans, and that's what he did with his 2 meter and 70 centimeter repeaters. Was he did the tape first, then the coaxial, and then more tape. So and
that probably work. Yeah,
that's what he did.
A known way to do it.
Great.
For sure.
Yeah, it was great. There you go.
Thank you, Gordo. We're going to hear from Icom now.
The season is all about connection, And Icom keeps that spirit shining with amateur radios that deliver clarity, reliability, and reach. Every call travels further, every friendship feels closer, and the airways become a place where the season's warmth never fades. Whether you're catching up with familiar voices or discovering new ones, Icom keeps every signal bright. Happy New Year from Icom. The IC7300 MK2 builds upon everything operators loved about the original IC7300, elevating it to a sharper, cleaner, and more capable HF experience. Its improved RMDR, lower phase noise, enhanced cooling, and expanded I/O options make it the next level performer for serious operators who want crystal clear reception, rock solid transmit quality, and modern conveniences that fit today's operating styles. The result is an HF 50 MHz transceiver that feels familiar yet unmistakably evolved. Improved RMDR and phase noise, lower heat generation, and reduced power consumption. HDMI output for external displays, USB Type-C with dual COM ports, built-in CW decoder and audio peak filter, and RX antenna in and out connectors. The ID52A Plus is Icom's most advanced handheld for operators who want powerful digital capability, wideband flexibility, and a modern interface that brings the airways to life. With expanded D-Star performance, an upgraded 2.3-inch color display, enhanced Bluetooth functions, and simultaneous dual-band monitoring, the ID52A Plus delivers a richer, more connected experience wherever you go. It's the next evolution of handheld communications, compact, capable, and unmistakably Icom. Heard it, worked it, logged it. For more information about Icom's amateur radios and to locate a dealer, please visit icomamerica.com/amateur today.
A huge thank you to Icom for sponsoring us here on Ham Nation. Every time we go live, we give away 3 swag packs that have like shirts, tablet, maybe a pen or pencil. It's random. You get some cool swag. That's everybody loves. But those 3 winners goes into the drawing pool for a radio that we give away at the end of every month. Now, the last time we were live, I didn't have the winners. I have them for you this week. So it's a record 6 swag packs we're giving away. No, it's only 3 when we are live, but let me run through the winners of the swag packs. Tom L, WC5B, Lucas M, KO6LBA, Rod G, KU0W, Bruce H, W6JJ, Mark B, KK7YAC, and Jameson K, AE0QT. So if we scroll down here, this cool website we got here, go all the way down. Where are we at? Oh, wait, did I keep... Oh my gosh, where am I at? I lost the plot here. I passed it. Oh, I'm going. Oh, they switched the directions. It goes down now. It used to go up. Anyway, so this week, the end of the month, we're giving away an ICV 86, and the winner was from last episode, Tom LWC5V, and I saw Tom comment earlier on the video. He was here live, so congratulations, Tom.
Congrats, Tom.
Very, very cool. I love that. So I am now throwing things off to Amanda, who's going to talk to us about, well, an event I'm pretty excited about.
I am too. And I've heard about this event for a couple years, and I never found the time to get involved. So anyhow, joining us tonight, we have KC1OHT. Shannon, thank you so much for being here. And you're kind of a part of this team anyways, because you volunteer for HRCC. Is that right?
Yep, I am a HRCCVE. Actually just had a testing session this afternoon with a new technician who passed. So congratulations to him, and can't wait for him to get his call sign.
That's awesome. So, well, and you're all out east too. Did you get unburied from all the snow?
No, well, we still have about 2 feet of snowpack here in northeastern Massachusetts. And hopefully we get some warmer temperatures this weekend. Like 46 degrees is the highlight of our week. And we're hoping that maybe helps to melt a little bit of the snow.
Oh my gosh, that's so much. And I never see that here in Colorado, just to let you know. So Shannon, before we get into the Wild POTA party, let's talk about you. How did you get involved in amateur radio?
It's something that I kind of always wanted to do. My dad owned a taxi company when I was growing up in like the late 80s, early 90s. And when we would go to the dispatch office and he would let us talk to the drivers, it was like magic because we didn't have cell phones back then.
Sure.
So, to be able to talk to someone that was driving around in a car like 2 cities away, it was amazing. I wanted to take
Awesome.
the radios home and play with them.
That's amazing. So you got into amateur radio, and kind of what do you like to do in amateur radio?
Well, definitely probably my number one favorite thing is POTA, Parks on the Air. I live in the city, so to be able to go out into a park where there's little to no noise floor and be able to hear those signals that barely even move your S meter, it's just such a great feeling.
Awesome. So you're helping put together the YL POTA party. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so the International Women's Day Wild POTA Party is something that I came up with 3 years ago. So this is going to be our third year doing it right now. And it basically just stemmed from the fact that, I enjoy doing POTA. I had some people that were like, hey, I want to try POTA. Let's meet up and do a POTA together. And then I was like, you know what? Why have it be just us? Why don't we extend the invitation to all women everywhere to get together, find a friend? If you have never done POTA, find somebody that does POTA. If you are a POTA pro, partner up with someone who's new and bring them out and show them the fun of amateur radio if they're not licensed, or if they are licensed and they're maybe just not that active, help them to become more active in the radio community. And I think POTA is a great way to do that, both for, activators, for hunters, and even just, the general public who maybe don't know about amateur radio and they end up walking by while you're, sitting on the beach in Lynn talking to someone in Germany.
How awesome is that? So, since you organize this, how many ladies do you think get involved every year?
I would say, probably at least 100 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have a pretty active Facebook group of ham radio women. That's sort of where I first announced it, and then I ended up making it into a Facebook event. So we have a number of people there, and people have told me that the first time they ever did POTA was my International Women's Day POTA party last year. And now they're out there and they're doing POTA at least once a week, if not multiple times
Wow.
a week.
I don't even know how
Yep.
you find the time to do that much. So, Shannon, how do you meet other YLs? Just mostly online, maybe some group pages, things like I'm genuinely interested.
Yeah, it really is mostly online. And, that's kind of like one of my missions to try to get more women to like come out of the ham radio woodwork and be more active in your clubs, because usually I'm the only woman at my main ham radio club, which is Cape Ann Amateur Radio Association in Gloucester. But I am part of the YLRL, the Young Ladies Radio League, which is, basically a club for ham radio women. It's been around since like the 1930s. So it's a really old organization that stemmed from like one woman that took out an ad in a newspaper and said, hey, are there any other women that are using radio out there? And like these 12 ladies wrote back to her and responded. And they created this, group called the Young Ladies Radio League. So I'm a part of that. So I do know quite a few ladies from that as well.
I do too. I've been a member. I hadn't ever heard of it I've been licensed since 2009, and I had never heard of it. And a lady sponsored me to join the club, and it's like cheap. Everybody, $15 a year. That's the cheapest club you could belong to. So anybody else out there thinking about it, just join, because it's very helpful, and their money goes towards scholarships for ladies. Anyhow, it's been an amazing group, and they're very energetic and encouraging. and a lot of them have been in the club for a long time, and some amazing, brilliant women that we're talking like senior citizen level that you wouldn't know all of the engineering that they used to do. So I'm glad you're a part of that. And I'm with you on we don't have enough gals in our club. I'm the only one that shows up to my local club as well. So that's kind of hard to connect that way. That's why I asked about how you connect with people. Maybe we can give some helpful hints out there to our viewers. So anything else you want us to know about the POTA party?
Yeah, so the main thing with the International Women's Day Wild POTA party is I don't want it to be stressful for people, right? I want the whole goal to be just to get out there and have fun. So, people always write me on Facebook. I actually just had a YL from Tokyo wrote to me today, and they were like, what time am I supposed to activate? Because, in ham radio, I know we like to use UTC, so people get kind of hung up on that. But I'm like, look, just go out there anytime on March 8th from, 0 local to like 23:59 local. And even if you can't make it out there on Sunday, I have some people that are doing a whole weekend camp out event and they're activating on Saturday. So the main goal is just to get out there and have fun and, hopefully bring a friend and introduce someone new to POTA and introduce someone new to ham radio.
Awesome. Now, Josh, she sent you a Facebook link. If you could just show that real quick, like, so everyone can maybe get that captured, so you can join the
in
Facebook.
addition to the image I'm showing? Sorry.
It was in the chat.
It was in the chat. Oh, okay.
It was in our group chat.
That is the image that I got then.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a Facebook link. Anyhow.
Oh, I see that. No, let me do it.
Okay.
Well.
Thank you.
You keep talking.
Okay.
I got to log in here. It doesn't like my login.
Anyhow, everyone join in on the ladies, join in on the Facebook page and follow along. And I bet there'll be some questions that maybe anyone can answer or things like that. And
okay, we got it.
You can RSVP to let everyone else know that you're going to be involved and maybe post where you're going to be activating your POTA, right? That would make sense. Shannon, just have everyone announce where they're going to be and when and where.
Yeah, so feel free to join the Facebook group event and post some pictures, tell us about yourself, let us know before you go out where you're going to be. Maybe spot yourself. Definitely, I'm sure we all spot ourselves on the POTA app anyway, but maybe even just put in there something about the Wild POTA party to try to raise awareness. And then afterwards, like, please share pictures, share stories, because that is the part that I actually enjoy the best, is seeing all the fun that everybody else had on their POTA events.
Me too. I like to know that everyone else was learning something. And Andrea is posting, just did my technician class with YLRL and it was great. So congratulations. Yay. And welcome to the ham radio world. And also thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that very much, sister. All right. So let's move on to now. Shannon and I don't know much about this event, but we're just here to to promote it. So the Worldwide Award for YL. Now, everyone noticed the January one where they had a whole month-long one, and that was for anybody and everybody. This one is specifically for the YLs to get involved, and it says, Shannon, what do you know about it? I'm going to put you on the spot, honey. You tell me what you know, and then we can discuss.
Yeah, so this event, actually, I found out about it, a few weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and it starts the day after International Women's Day. So it starts on Monday the 9th. It goes until Sunday the 15th. And basically, it's for YLs to be activators, but anybody can make contact with these women. So it's not like we're looking for specific YL to YL contacts. It's for anyone. And as far as I know, there's about 100 women that are signed up to be activators in this event. And a lot of them are international DX too, which was very exciting. They were actually looking for more US YLs, I think, the last time I checked, but a lot of people have joined. I've actually been sharing it around to all the different groups that I know of, and, private messaging a lot of different YLs I know to get them to sign up. And I'm super excited about it.
I am too. I love, first of all, I like an offbeat DX opportunity, not just during the DX contest. So to be an activator, basically you kind of just sign up and say, hey, I plan on being on the air. Look for me. This is my call sign. And then there's a point system, right?
Yeah, there is a point system. So I was sort of a little confused because that made it seem like a contest, but they assure me that it's not a contest and it can be on the work bands. I think the only band they said it wasn't going to be on is going to be on 60 meters.
Okay.
And they basically just asked the YLs to just make, you can be an activator, but just make about 100 contacts throughout the whole week, which I mean, shouldn't be a problem. I don't know about anybody else, but I make like 100 contacts in one POTA activation.
Right. That's me in an hour. So no problem.
Yeah. So, but they do ask that you log on this Ham Award platform. So I was a little worried because I kind of want to do it on POTA. So they were like, oh, you have to have a good internet connection. But I think 5G cell phone connection should be okay. And most of the POTA parks around me are not that rural. So I have
I'm
cell
gonna have to
phone
look at
connection at
that.
all of them.
Live logging. That's so I never
Yes.
do that personally. I just always use Ham Radio Deluxe and then upload logs later. So I'll have to take a look at that to make sure
I
I'm
use
on the
pen
up
and
and up.
paper.
Do you? Okay.
I do. I have my tiny little ARRL logbook that I bring on POTA.
That is so
Although
cute.
I have to upgrade to the big logbook though, because the little one only holds like 15 contacts per page and I fill it up in like 3 activations. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
need to upgrade to the big one.
Okay. Well, that's amazing that you do paper logging. I gotta have my keyboard. I'm crazy like that. But so with this award and it's DX, so is there some kind of exchange that we're supposed to be giving, or is there a way we're supposed to be calling CQ?
They didn't say any specific way to call CQ. Just, if you want to call CQ YL WWA, then you can. I think the exchange is just, the RST or, RS, depending on if you're doing SSB or CW. And I think they said you can do digital as well. So FT8, FT4, and maybe even the new FT2.
FT2. So what do you do mostly? Are you a phone gal or digital or what?
From home, I usually do digital just because my noise floor is kind of
Mm.
and digital modes are a little easier to get around that. Plus, I find so many digital modes like fascinating, like SSTV. The fact that you can send a picture over radio, I think that is just so impressive. But on POTA, it's pretty much always just SSB.
Yeah, I'm definitely a phone person. I love to talk. Love, love, love to talk. So, and I'm sorry, if I'm not making eye contact with you guys, I'm looking at the screen to see what Josh is scrolling over. So, anyhow, take a look at the website. What is the website again?
hamaward.cloud WWAYL, and I'll drop that in the chat.
Okay, just look for like Ham Award, YL Ham Award or something, and you'll probably run into it.
Yeah, if you Google the YL WWA, I think it comes up like one of the very first links.
So men out there listening, work all of the YLs because they're probably working towards this special award and help them get some points. Not that we have to ask you to work us because you will anyways, but help us out.
Yes.
And is there any special points for YL to YL?
I don't think there's any special points that I saw listed, no. But as a member of the YLRL and anyone else out there as well, the YLRL does have special awards for working a certain number of YLs within the year. I think it's either 10, 12, or 15, something like that. So if you are a paper chaser and you like to have ham radio wallpaper, then definitely get on this event because it's a good opportunity to make contact with other YLs so you can submit it for that YLRL award.
So now I have a personal question for you because I saw in your background that you also have a dual call sign. So
I do.
What do you do with that? And how'd you get it? What's it all about?
So last year, I had the opportunity to have or access to a remote radio in the UK. But with that, in order to work remote, you have to have a UK call sign. Your call sign doesn't reciprocate if you're doing remote. So all I needed was an address in the UK, just like all you need for a US license is an address here. So I had my UK address. I studied for the UK Foundation. It took me about 10 days to study for that. Passed that, no problem. And then because their license system is based on power, so as a foundation, you can only transmit on 25 watts. And although 25 watts is perfectly fine, more watts is better watts. So to get the 100 watts, I had to get at least my intermediate. So I studied for like another 14 days for that and was able to pass the intermediate. So I am an intermediate in the UK. My UK call sign 2 Echo 0 Oscar Hotel Tango, and an extra here in the US.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions for Shannon?
Shannon, what is your current POTA loadout? What do you run for Parks on the Air, radio and
Good
antenna?
question.
So right now, my main POTA rig is a Icom. It's a Yaesu FT710. I always bring a 100 amp hour battery, which is probably overkill, but I just, like I said, more is better, right? if some is good, then more is better. And then the antenna that I've been using is a Wolf River Coil Silver Bullet 1000 Platinum with a 715-foot whip, the MFJ 1979 whip on top of that.
Nice.
And a Faraday cloth for a
nice.
ground plane.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Is, everyone's always impressed by the ham radio magic carpet, but it works great and it's so easy to deploy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Shannon, thanks for being on tonight. And as I had mentioned in the email, we're doing a YL show in 2 weeks. So come back again and you can
Oh, absolutely.
you can help me run around with the other ladies. So I appreciate you being here tonight. And you can stick around for the rest of the show, but we do have to go to Amateur Radio Newsline. But thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks with hopefully some stories about YL POTA Day.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, Donnie boy. It's all yours.
Shannon, you're an inspiration. You're just a killer. You're great. You're one of the best things I've seen about this hobby in a long time. So thank you so much for being here for us. Now listen, you got a great voice and a great personality. Have you ever thought about maybe being a correspondent for Amateur Radio Newsline?
Hey.
Okay. Well, listen, we're always looking for new talent, and we don't have many YLs on there. So email me. I'm good on QRZ, AE5DW. Okay. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Now, with that out of the way, why don't we just go ahead and get into the aforementioned Amateur Radio Newsline and, of course, the latest from Dr. Scope. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2521, this is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. In December of 2025, AR Newsline reported on the dismantling of the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Services, or RACES, in Vermont, in preference to a different operations model, a movement that's been taking place in other states as well. Hawaii, however, is going in a different direction. They're recruiting new members and recently responded well to a sudden, severe weather event.
Hawaii's recent statewide call for hams to get more involved in RACES could not have been better timed. RACES hams were activated on February 8th and 9th as severe weather brought high winds, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, power outages, and hazardous surf conditions across Honolulu and the state of Hawaii. Both Governor Josh Green and Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi issued emergency proclamations to mobilize resources and protect human safety. As trained licensed amateur radio volunteers, RACES hams are involved in a government-activated amateur radio service used during official emergencies, operating under local, state, or federal emergency management authorities. In Hawaii, RACES operators are a part of the state's Emergency Management Reserve Corps, helping to keep information moving between the Emergency Operations Center and field sites. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Presenters and papers are needed for a VHF Society conference in Georgia.
Hams with a strong interest and some expertise in weak signal operating on VHF, UHF, and microwave are being invited to submit papers and propose presentations for the Southeastern VHF Society's next conference. Any subjects are welcome relative to RF power amplifiers, beacons, SDRs, satellites, transverters, transmitters, and construction projects, and that's just for starters. In general, the conference is not interested in presentations related to non-weak signal topics unless there is also some relevance to amateurs using weak signals. Presentations can be submitted in Microsoft Word format to the email address listed in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. The conference is taking place from the 17th through to the 19th of April in Macon, Georgia. Deadline for presenters' submissions is the 2nd of March. Presentations and papers are being handled by Don Woodward, KD4APP. This is Selembi, KB3TZD.
Developers of open source projects for amateur radio have a chance to be recognized for their efforts again this year with the Amateur Radio Software Award.
The Amateur Radio Software Award is a global award encouraging innovative problem solving that leads to sharing within the ham radio community. To qualify for the award, the software must be available for free download and use. It must also be free of malicious hidden codes and capable of being improved in collaboration with others. Last year, the award committee chose Sebastian Delmont, KI2D, author of the popular Ham2K portable logger that is widely used by POTA activators. A monetary award accompanies the honor. Nominations are being accepted through to the 28th of February. You can find an online nomination form by following the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Randy Sly, W4XJ, Cell MB, KB3TZD, Stephen Kinford, N8WB, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now, here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
We have some fast solar wind hitting Earth now, some gorgeous eruptions off the sun's east limb, and, believe it or not, the first spotless day since 2022 is here. Those stories and more are in the news this week. Space weather this week is staying a bit on the calm side. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, we have been getting a few mini solar storms being launched here and there, little puffs you can see from some of these brighter regions, but they really haven't been giving us anything other than just a small bumpy ride. And that's going to continue over the next day or so as we continue to ramp up with some fast solar wind from this big coronal hole here. We have been getting some fast wind from this coronal hole. This was the player from last week, but now it's switched to this one, which has a better polarity. So we're going to watch the storm conditions kind of ramp up here over the next couple days, but this fast wind could give us some storm conditions maybe in through Thursday, especially at high latitudes, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Meanwhile, look at this. We only have 3 active regions in Earth view, and over the last couple days, they've really disappeared. We've had a little bit of eruption right there. Boof, this was kind of a caged filament eruption. Really did not escape the magnetic field enclosure here. This is definitely becoming a much more organized magnetic field and coronal streamer belt, as you see right here. Very well defined, with very well defined coronal holes. If anyone has not believed that we were in the declining phase or deep into the declining phase of the solar cycle, well, you're going to believe it now, because watch this. This region is basically disappearing, and look, there are no other active regions in Earth view. In fact, when we take a look at the official Space Weather Prediction Center synoptic map, there are no active regions as of the 22nd. So this is our first spotless day, February 22nd, 2026, and it's the first spotless day since 2022. So there's a lot of twos in there, isn't there? Anyway, as we continue taking a look at this coronal hole, believe it or not, we've been kind of getting a little bit of storming already from some of those mini solar storms, but along with the fast solar wind that's going to continue to ramp up, aurora photographers, you're going to get a decent show probably over the next maybe 4 days, while amateur radio operators are kind of getting a little bit of a break because there's very low noise on the dayside radio bands right now. But that's not going to last, because take a look at the bright regions on the east limb, and with this filament right here, this is actually a lot of activity that's going to be rotating back into Earth view. So enjoy the quiet while you have it. And now, as you see this filament launch, look at this gorgeous thing from Suvi. Watch this thing. It's a very gentle launch, which is what we expect around this time of the solar cycles, a lot of these softer filaments. But you can see the ribbons. See these big white ribbons? Look at this. Look at them brighten. Whoosh. See that? Isn't that beautiful? Now, this filament might actually have dislodged right in this area, and because of these loops that you can see here, they actually lock down into this area too, where there's another filament. So we're going to be watching this one, because this filament launch may have actually destabilized this one a little bit. We're going to keep our eyes on it as it rotates in through the Earth strike zone, because this one could give us an Earth-directed solar storm if it launches here over the next couple days. So aurora photographers, enjoy your little fast solar wind over the next few days. And amateur radio operators, enjoy the reprieve, because likely radio noise is going to start rising, as well as the chances for big radio blackouts, because there's some big regions on the sun's far side that are going to be coming into view very soon. And now, to get a better idea of what's going on the far side and what's going to be rotating back into Earth view, we switch to our full sun map. And sadly, we still do not have solar orbiter on the sun's far side. We still have stereo A kind of staring at the sun a little bit from the side. You can see here's Earth, here's the sun, and here's stereo A kind of on the west. So it's getting a little bit of a view from the sun's far side, but nothing clear back here. So we do have to use JSOC HMI helioseismology far-sided viewing in order to get an idea of what active regions might be lurking on the far side. So here's our typical map, where we get SDO AIA in red right here. In green is stereo A, kind of filling in part of that far side. And then what stereo A can't see is the gold, which is the JSOC helioseismology far-sided viewer. So now, put this in motion, give you an idea. Here's that big long coronal hole, that one that was giving us some fast wind last week. Here's region 4374 that's moving off of the sun's west limb. Now you see a couple nice spreads of big long filament eruptions, very gentle eruptions off the east limb. But where I really want to steer your eyes is to this region here. Anybody remember old region 4366? Well, it's surviving its far side passage. As you can see, it's definitely still a big sunspot cluster. There's going to be multiple groups in here, and it is still an active firing. We've been seeing solar storms being launched pretty predictably, pretty consistently on the sun's far side, a lot of them coming from this region. So we're going to be expecting to see this region in about 3 to 4 days. We also have a little bit from some of these other regions in here, not quite such a big deal. We're not expecting too much. We're already seeing a little bit from old region 4358, but this is the region that we're watching for. This is the one that's going to make, in those 5-day outlooks, watch that radio blackout risk rise, as well as the solar flux and the potential for radiation storms as well. So amateur radio operators and emergency responders, enjoy this respite for maybe the next 3 or 4 days. Then things are going to start ramping up, and it's not going to be your gear. Guaranteed, it's going to be the big players coming back for another show. And now, switching to our solar flare and dayside radio blackout outlook over the coming week. We are sitting in the low 100s for solar flux right now. Propagation is still good on the dayside radio bands, but hey, look at this, low noise. When was the last time we saw that in the forecast, right? NOAA's giving us about a 5% chance of M-class flares, and definitely no chance essentially for X-class flares over the next day. Then expect things to start slowly building. Kind of a bit of a guess here, but about 125 into maybe 135 for solar flux, and expecting minor noise on the bands to rise from about a 10% chance of R1 to R2 level radio blackouts all the way up to about a 25% chance by the end of the week. Maybe even a chance for X-class flares too, but this is probably still pretty small. It all depends upon how old region 4366 looks as it rotates into Earth view, and we shall see. So expect some variation on these as time moves on. Now, and as far as radiation storm and polar aviation outlook is concerned, everything is in the green. We're at the D1 normal range. If this is at flight level 360 for you aviators, it's also the S0 quiet range for everyone else. We're sitting at 1% risk on an S1 to S2 radiation storm over the next 3 days, but we might see a tiny bit of a rise here as we move into Thursday and Friday. Again, it's all going to depend upon what region 4366 looks like, but all things considered, you flight crew, and this does mean high-risk passengers, and you frequent flyers, you are all in the clear. So the space weather this week is staying a bit on the calm side. Now, we have been getting some fast solar wind over the past day or so, and along with some mini solar storms that's been giving us a bit of a bumpy ride, we have popped up above storm levels for just a moment. And with the extra fast solar wind that's coming from this new coronal hole, which has a favorable, much more favorable magnetic field configuration, we're likely going to bump back up to storm levels kind of on and off over the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 days. So aurora photographers, if you're at high latitudes, expect a big show. Aurora photographers at mid latitudes, maybe, it's going to be a little bit more sporadic, but it might be worth a look if you're dedicated. Now, amateur radio operators and emergency responders, enjoy the quiet, because right now there's no sunspots on the Earth-facing disk. That means radio propagation is good with low noise on the bands. Enjoy that over the next few days because it's going to change soon. And now you GPS users, well, things aren't looking too bad for you. The day side is a wonderful place to be. The night side, it's a little bit disturbed, but as long as you stay away from aurora and away from those dawn dust terminators, your GPS reception should be top notch. I'm Tamitha Skov, the Space Weather Woman. Thank you for watching.
Dr. T, she is certainly a great asset to the amateur radio service and to those of us here at Ham Nation and Amateur Radio Newsline. We certainly appreciate everything that she does for us. And hopefully she's going to be a big part of the YL show here in a couple of weeks.
I hope
Amanda.
so.
Yeah.
I'm going to send her an invite. And what in the hell is a dawn dust terminator? She just scared me.
it's where the where sun. Day turns into night.
Okay.
It's like gray line.
Yeah.
But
the gray line.
Dawn to dust, gray line.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
She used the word terminator, so this sounds much more.
It's where the sun terminates you.
That's right.
It's exactly. Get your sun.
That's right. So now you better get to the chopper.
Let's get your propagation. Get it out.
That's right. Yes. All right. Well, enough of that nonsense.
Oh, that was hilarious.
It's time for Hammett Canada. What Hammett with not just Amanda, not just the Amanda, but our Amanda. And by God, we're certainly happy to have her.
Are you excited about this? I am.
Yeah.
Most of this is.
What are you talking about?
I'm trying.
Okay. She's trying.
I'm trying. I can't do two things at once.
I
you guys.
know. There we go.
It's hard enough for me to call CQ and type a call sign at the same time. Goodness gracious. Okay, this is
I
just
can't
me.
even spell CQ most of the time.
And Shannon, feel free to jump in whenever you want because this is all commentary. But I just wanted to show off a Hamfest I went to a couple weeks ago. Well, yeah, a couple weeks ago. And speaking of Hamfest, at the same time, New Mexico Tech Fest is a really big techie fest, but it's all available via Zoom as well. So just Google that if you're interested. That's coming up this weekend. Thank you, Brett, for that reminder. Yes, this is a big Hamfest. Like 500 people were there. So there was yeah, showing off our van.
Oh, Maggie shirts.
Look at the shirt.
We never ever do that. And I made him wear that shirt. And not only that, but literally he must have been taken over by aliens because he never smiles.
Darling.
Look at him. He's smiling. Well, he's at his happy place, right? He's at a Hamfest.
Yeah, a Hamfest with his best friend on the other side. Not me. His best friend was there. So okay, let's get to it. Okay. How many people know how to communicate when cell networks go down? Does anyone actually own a ham radio? Somebody needs to go talk to Wheezy on X, please.
That NFT is talking to me.
Sure, 3.
Wheezy has asked a couple questions about this Amateur Radio 7. Like, does this really still exist? Somebody please reply. Go find this person and say, yes, it exists. Get involved.
Yes.
Okay. What was this one? I enjoy when someone has a hobby that feels mildly unnecessary but deeply sincere, like ham radio.
Well,
I love it.
Okay.
Mildly unnecessary. I take offense to that, first of all, but what's ham radio? this is just a funny comment. So
That's hilarious.
Weird statement. First of all, if you know that it's a sincere hobby, then you know that it is necessary. Okay.
Hey, did I ever tell you what? Years ago, I went to the Huntsville, Alabama Ham Fest, and we went back and we were stopping in Birmingham, Alabama, to eat at the Cracker Barrel, and my buddy still had his badge, his Huntsville badge on, and the lady at the checkout counter at the Cracker Barrel said, "Ham Fest? What's that?" So yeah, we just went down to, it was down in Huntsville. So they have a Ham Fest, and what y'all do? Chase pigs up and down the street? I swear to God. Swear to God.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of Southern, though, right?
No, it's not.
It's completely plausible.
Alabama, after all.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody would have to verify this to me, because obviously I wasn't around in 1969. Neither was Shannon. So
Yes, that happened.
During the first moon landing, the 19 megahertz band was used for communications between Earth and the moon. Imagine being a radio ham back then and listening in. Were there hams that were listening in to the moon landing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seriously?
Absolutely.
This is a thing?
They were using
How come I haven't ever seen any?
They were using
However,
antennas like the.
However, the small m means millihertz, not megahertz. It's a big M, a big H. And a little
Correct
Z.
it.
Yeah, right.
They used backstop antennas, and the guy it literally was like hand rotating the antenna, and it was for the entire multiple parts of the Apollo mission was receivable, not just the landing. But yes, hams were listening to that before President Nixon even heard it, because if you think about from the radio straight to the ham's ears via their antenna, that had to go through the phone to Nixon, so they were hearing it live. Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So, you never know if these facts are true on the internet or not. So I'm glad that this one is true. Thank you, Michael, for sharing. Okay, what's this one? I feel like a lot of people in nerd spaces would actually really enjoy hobby radio, but it's kind of intimidating to get into from the start.
No, you just don't know the right.
Like ham radio, it is definitely a bit intimidating. Even though I have my license, I don't get on the air because it's intimidating. Shannon, don't you disagree? Were you ever intimidated to get on the air?
No, I was. And that is, that's exactly why I, wanted to start the POTA party, is because I want people to see that it is intimidating, but it's only as intimidating as you make it. I think we psych ourselves out a little bit.
That's a good theory.
To me, POTA, it's such an easy exchange, right? You don't have to worry about thinking of something to rag to with someone, especially when you are a new ham and maybe you don't know that much about your station, or you're 40 years younger than the other person on the other end, so you can't really talk about the moon landing or whatever the case may be. POTA just gave me so much confidence. I think if everybody went out and POTA'd, everybody would get over mic fright.
And get more popular. Like,
absolutely.
You don't have to beg for the contacts as much. You don't have to keep saying like your call sign a lot. Like, people will just come to you once you're spotted. They're looking for you. So
honestly, I think
good input.
If I could add, I think there's less pressure too, because the exchange is so quick and you kind of want to move on to the next one, that there's none of that feeling that you have to make small talk and rag chew.
Right.
Like, you could just kind of get going, and then that gets you through the mic fright, and then all of a sudden you can find yourself talking later and doing whatever you want with it. But
I am going to speak on. I'm going to speak about ladies on this one because it's true. When I first got on the air, HF wise, I was an appliance operator. I didn't know anything about the rig in front of me. My husband tuned it up for me. He set up the antenna. I didn't even know what we had. So when they asked those questions, like, so what are you using? And bare minimum did I know. And it was either that or you had to talk about the weather, right? So that is kind of, it's not, I guess it is intimidating, but also just overwhelming. Like, oh, I don't know if I can talk about these things, or I might not sound smart enough. So I guess
but you got to start somewhere.
And you pick it up.
The journey of a lifetime starts with the first step. So,
wow, deep.
The hobby of a lifetime starts with one CQ.
Hey,
there you go.
That's a good one.
Perfect statement.
This is why we like you, Shannon.
Yes, we do. And so does our viewers. They've been raving about you on chat. Okay, next one.
You found so many hot bangers for tweets this
I
show.
know.
That's great.
Okay. WhatsApp can't be trusted. Signal can't be trusted. Telegram can't be trusted. Then what is the solution? And this dude answers ham radio. Okay, so first of all, I need some context on this, because is Noah talking about it can't be trusted because people are listening in, or it can't be trusted because it's not always reliable and it's not always up and running?
All those
I'm like,
are services that can be taken away from you, right? Like something
okay,
can happen.
so is that the way you're imagining it? Because I was thinking maybe he was talking about it's not secure enough. And if the answer was ham radio, agree to disagree, bro.
Yeah, that good point. If that's where he's coming from, then yes. That's not really
so
the
I wasn't
answer,
really sure if it was on a security level, ham radio is the only way to go, but it's not secure at all, which is its whole purpose. Or it's the only thing that's going to be reliable no matter what, because it's always up and running.
I think that's the point, probably.
You think that's the point? Okay.
I think so, because I mean, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, those are all three companies, and they are basically middlemen between you and the person you're trying to communicate with.
True. And then there's I'm not a conspiracy theorist and I'm not anti-government, but in other countries, they have taken those services away.
Yes, they have.
Yes. So if they're leaning towards that's why it can't be trusted, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Ham radios, you still have it. So, okay. Moving on. I'm telling you, I found some crazy stuff.
Man, you found a good one. These are great.
I'm trying to get into ham radio, but I might be too dumb. Again, people, please go find Wolfie on X. And because nobody responded. Look, no replies whatsoever. Please respond.
Maybe they know him.
You're not.
You're not.
Dumb.
I'm just kidding.
I have met some really stupid people in amateur radio.
I'm here, Wolfie. You got a shot. Don't worry about it.
Hamstudy.org. Start studying.
I have wondered.
Maybe check out a Gordon West book or something.
Yeah,
I have wondered if they had paid their VE team before when I've met them. So
that's funny.
It is difficult and overwhelming if you don't know anything about electrical theory and things like that. And the rules are easy enough to study and memorize. You're not too dumb. You're not too dumb. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Okay. I don't know what this sandwich is, but this sandwich needs to stay out of ham radio. Just gross.
Hot fish.
I don't even care. Oh, ew. Just tell us that you're on amateur radio.
Okay.
Don't ever show us the sandwich.
I'm looking for clues, and I'm seeing what looks like an Australian flag.
Is that Australian? I was wondering if that or if
can
it was
anyone
UK.
back me up on that? It's not the UK because that would be the full Union
hard to
Jack.
see, but
it's a Union Jack with a blue. It's a Union Jack on top of a blue flag, which I believe is Australian. Somebody correct me.
And Sandy definitely sounds like some kind of Australian slang for anything, because they tend to put the Y on the end of a bunch of things. Shrimp on the Barbie, and so yeah,
I suppose
they tend to put the Y on a lot of things.
You could have showed me your strawberries and ice cream and amateur. Just bleh.
That'd be nice.
Okay, gross.
That's wild.
All right. Getting into ham radios is so funny because there's a lot of old people who get really mad you're using their super secret comm system, $12 radio from Amazon. All right, I'm going to stop you right there, Kiari.
That was New Zealand. Thank you.
Older people in amateur radio are not angry at the new generation getting into ham radio. And they're not angry at you at all. You know what they're pissed off about? They're mad that they had to travel up to like 200 miles to go to an FCC office back in the day and take a test. They're mad that they had to go back to that same office to take their CW test to get completely, fully licensed. They're mad that they had to spend a whole lot more money to get into the hobby than you did. And they had to build a lot of stuff on their own to get
draw
on the
circuits for the test.
Their bargain basement handheld was $300.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
They are not mad at you. They are not. They're mad that things have changed. I am mad too. I had to buy tapes. I had to buy records. I had to switch over to MP3s. I had to switch over to an iPod. Now all I do is use streaming services. I am angry too at a different kind of technology. Same thing though. I've invested like 40 times over in my music collection. So
yes, I feel that.
Yeah.
Man. How many dead formats does this kid have?
I know. Anyhow, they're not mad at you. They're just frustrated at the way they were in the hobby, and now it's changed so much. So don't blame them, okay?
And some of us are just naturally grumpy.
That's true too. But that's because you've paid taxes for 72 years.
Yes. Well, not quite 72 here. But yeah. Yeah. My property taxes are due. Damn it.
Exactly. Okay. What else do I have? With all of this talk of banning social media for younger people, I wonder if the younger generations will end up learning more about CB or hopefully ham radio. I think that they are and will.
Sure.
And so this leads me to another point, is that we can't keep advertising and trying to get our youth into amateur radio because a lot of them aren't looking at social media as much. So don't forget your old school ways of getting into them, and maybe reaching our Teachers Institute once again is very important for that exact reason, is so that we can teach the teachers to go back to their classrooms and bring this science, this STEM opportunity to their students. So just another way to get them in the hobby. So.
And I certainly agree. And the ARRL with the teachers program is bringing teachers into ham radio that will then bring the students into ham radio. So good work for the ARRL.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, this is just my last one. Bouvet Island is about to get on the air. They're going to be there like tomorrow or Friday morning.
Oh, good.
Yes. And crazy, a lot of drama with that. So I won't get into that. But get your the team members dropping out and coming, and money and all kinds of things. Anyhow, it's obviously the boat is paid for and they're there, so almost there. So they no turning back now, as long as the helicopter has some fuel to get them over to the island. Anyhow,
that
listen
is
for
way
them.
out in the middle of nowhere.
100%. But they've brought amplifiers, all the best antennas to make sure that it's the best proper setup.
It's a multi-million-dollar trip.
And evidently North America is the hardest for them to reach.
It is.
And we are still going to battle to get those contacts, I think.
I'm going to try.
Can I just say, for all the United States people watching, make sure you're looking at the DX Code of Conduct. Don't be calling on their frequency if you can't hear them.
Oh my God.
If you can't hear them, don't call. Don't.
Learn about splits. Learn splits right now.
We'll terminate you. We'll get you on the gray line termination.
That's right.
If you call,
you will learn
you down. We'll bring you
and
down.
like it. Yes.
I can't even process this right now. Wow. Blew me away. Okay. So that's all I have for tonight. And don't forget, we have some nets. I think Tom is on 7192 or thereabouts, and Paul is on 14 Charlie. And the YL show is coming up on March 11th. So March 11th, and Virginia has already reached out. Yes, Virginia, of course you're coming on. So it might be a crazy show, and it might be a lot of lady guests, but we're going to have a fun time. So boys, minus Josh, you get to take the night off. So anyhow, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. And good DX. The DX contest is coming up, not this weekend, next weekend. And have a great time. Shannon, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
That's it. That's our show.
Wonderful job. Well, thank you, everybody.
Great job.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'll be live this Saturday. Hopefully something fun. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll figure it out tomorrow. But for tonight, 73, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
7-3.
We appreciate it.